Yes, I am Odabi Friday. I host Potters TV. Discuss issues. We give you updates, information about things happening all around us. Today, I have an interesting story I saw on the internet and I want to bring to our notice one or two things concerning that interesting story. It's about the broadcast of Nationhood podcasts by Nnamdi Aneke, where he hosted a conversation with a historian in Nigeria from Niger Delta, Jediael Peterson. Let me take you through the broadcast, then we'll get talking about the conversation and the issues I have to raise from that podcast. Sit back and watch out. Thank you.
Hello friends, thank you for joining me. My name is Nnamdi Aneke and I host Nationhood podcast. Today I am excited to present the first edition of Conversations, where we will bring historical perspectives to current issues. Our guest is Jediael Peterson, a historian and doctoral researcher at Stony University. Ms. Peterson's work examines Nigeria's nation-building project in the 20th century, and she does this by exploring the roles of different ethnic groups. Amongst other things, Jediael is interested in the protest movements that resulted from the nation-building project, and with a specific focus on the South-South and Southeast regions. In today's episode, we will be discussing oil exploration in Ogoniland and bringing historical perspectives to this activity from political, economic, and socio-cultural perspectives. And so, without further ado, I am honored to welcome Jediael Peterson to Nationhood podcast. You're welcome, Jediael.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm really excited about the conversation that we're going to have today.
Amazing. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to grace the podcast. I'm excited to hear you share your insights from the research you've done, and I believe that listeners will also be enlightened. The first time I heard you speak was at a conference, which was 2 weeks ago in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where you unraveled several connections between oil, spectacle, and the dynamics of the Nigerian state. And I'm going to come to that in a moment, but I'd like us to start small. So first, can you tell us about your experience as a researcher who's been researching Nigeria's nation-building project and why you've chosen this area of study as a historian? Like, why is it so fascinating?
Yes, of course. So my research or my interest in researching Nigeria started my junior year of undergrad. So I went to Temple University and I applied for this scholarship called the Diamond Scholars Program, where from June up until December, it was a cohort of I believe 6 to 9 students in different fields, and we were given resources to do different research. And so at first I've always been interested in Blackness and race and nationhood, and so I wanted to look at the trans-Saharan slave trade at first, but the way I came about history is very much talking to my grandfather and my mother about their lived experiences, and whenever they would tell stories, it was always so fascinating to me that they lived through those periods. So my mom would tell me that she remembers a coup occurring and she would run out of school barefoot into the streets with her friends. And she wasn't focused on the fact that a coup happened, she was focused on the fact that she had to skip school. She was happy about skipping school. My grandfather fought in the Nigerian Civil War, so he has a bullet in the back of his neck or upper back that he always talks about whenever we would complain. So if I want to complain about waking up in the morning, he's like, at least you don't have a bullet, and like, so little things like this where it was so casual to them, but for me, it's very eye-opening in a discussion of Nigerian history. And so I moved away from looking at the trans-Saharan slave trade into Nigerian history, and my first project was very inspired by my grandfather. So I wrote about the relationship that Niger Delta minorities had to Biafra, and how later on Biafra became a space of inheritance for minorities like the Ijaw who wanted to secede from the nation or also challenge the Nigerian state, and how I wrote this project during the NSARS protest too. And so around October, the research moved in a very drastic position where young Nigerians have inherited this struggle of constantly challenging the state.
Welcome back to the analysis. The reason why I had to do this broadcast today. You've heard what the question Nnamdi put across to Jediael Peterson and her analysis. If I allow you to continue watching that video, you'll see where she analyzed the whole situation on and on and on. In that video, she made a statement that caught my attention, and that's the reason why I'm doing this video today. And what's that statement? He said that her focus, my focus is to examine Nigeria's 20th century nation building project, exploring how various ethnic groups shape what would become present-day Nigeria. She says she is also interested in the protest movement that occurred as a direct result of this on the south-south and southeastern region of the nation Nigeria. That statement caught my attention. It tickled my fancy. And that's why I'm doing this broadcast today. What caught my attention, or what's my interest there is, as ethnic group in a CAP federal constituency, we the Agbo people, what are we doing? Or what are we going to do? Or what have we been doing to create an ethnic nationality of our dream? An ethnic nationality where our children will be proud of what we have done in our own time. An ethnic nationality where we'll be proud to say these are the legacies we are passing on to our children as we pass on the baton. If you look deep down, and if I may say, the legacy we are going to pass down, one that I can see is PhD. That's what I call it. Pull him down. Is it what we should pass to our next generation, our children? When you see your brother doing something you cannot on your own come out and do, you look for means to criticize. These are the things we should pass to our next generation. Our history is going. Our cultures, our value, our core value system is going. I can remember when I was growing up, you can go to your neighbor's place and collect matches to light a fire. You can even pick charcoal from their fire to go and light your own. Today, is this thing still happening? Can you even give the key of your house to your neighbor and say, hold for me when my son or my daughter comes from school, give to them to enter the house? What are we going to do to make sure, as ethnic group, to make sure we get the Nigeria we desire? We get the Agbo that we desire. Let me not talk about a car now. Car federal constituency is large. But as Agbo people, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So many things have divided us, but should we continue with this division? Or we should come together and say, united family, the Agbo people. I think it's high time we begin to teach our children our history, so that when they learn this history, they know where we are coming from. They know that thing that binds us together, that thing that connects the Alihami man to the Aliagwa man, to the Aliopu man, to the Agbonta man, to the Agwewuru man, to the Agbobi Imobi man, to the Ozaman, to the Alesibia man, and to the Aleso man, to the Omomo man. This thing that binds us together as one entity. We need to begin to teach these things and transfer it. Our history is fading away. Look at what Jediael Peterson was saying about Southside, about Niger Delta. Why? Because she knows the history. How many of us know the history of our own family, not to talk about? Sometimes I ask people, what's your son's name? They will tell me, I said, do you know the meaning of this name? They say they don't know. You see people come to do their local government of origin. I'm from Eka South. Where are you from in Eka South? So and so place they will say, Agbobi, Ale, this. Speak your dialect. They cannot. Swale. Some mama will swallow. We need to do something. We need to do something. Our leaders need to do something. Our parents, as we pass on the baton, we need to pass it on with legacy. With legacy. It's that legacy that our children will see, and it will encourage them to run further than we have done. I remain your brother, your friend, Friday Odabi, the host, Potters TV. Thank you for always stopping by to watch Potters TV.